I would like to call this meeting of the Jackson County Library District Board to order. Roll call, please.
Director Kiefer,
I'm here.
Director Trancy, Director Jensen,
Present.
Director Shepard,
Here.
Director Keating.
Here. All right. We would like Jackson County Library Services acknowledges that its libraries are located within the traditional lands of the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Indians and the Modoc Nation, as well as the Shasta, Takelma, and Latgawa people, whose descendants are now identified as members of the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians and the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde. We take this moment to recognize the indigenous peoples whose traditional lands are where residents of Jackson County live today. JCLS is committed to fostering understanding, deep respect, and honor for indigenous people, and we encourage you to learn more about the land you reside on. For more information, go to jcls.org/land. And do you have any introductions?
I kept looking. I was like, no, we do not.
No introductions. All right. But we do have a proclamation. Too long. So, National Library Week is October 19th through 25th. And Friends. Oh. So it is National Friends of the Library. Mea culpa. Before the Jackson County Library District Board, in the matter of proclaiming October 19th through 25th, 2025 as National Friends of Libraries Week. Whereas Friends of the Jackson County Library branches raise money that enables our libraries to move from good to great, providing the resources for additional programming, much needed equipment, support for children's summer reading, and special events throughout the year. Whereas the support of the Friends highlights the fact that our libraries are the cornerstone of the community, providing opportunities for all to engage in the joy of lifelong learning and to connect with the thoughts and ideas of others. Whereas the Friends understand the critical importance of well-funded libraries and advocate to ensure that our libraries get the resources they need to provide a wide variety of services to all ages, including access to print and electronic materials, along with expert assistance in research, readers advisory, and children's services. And whereas the Friends' gifts of their time and commitment to the library sets an example for all in how volunteerism leads to positive civic engagement and the betterment of our community. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Jackson County Library Board of Directors proclaims October 19th through 25th, 2025 as Friends of the Libraries Week in Jackson County, Oregon, and urges everyone to join the Friends of the Library and thank them for all they do to make our library and community so much better. Dated this day, 15th of October, 2025, Jackson County Library District Board. Do we need to vote on this? Here, so be it. So, do we have any amendments to the agenda that anyone would like to raise? Hearing none, we will move forward with the agenda on our packet. Next up is the consent agenda, which has the September 17th regular board meeting minutes as the only thing on it, if I'm reading this correctly. Can I have a motion for approval?
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Do we have a second?
A second.
Thank you. So the motion has been made to approve the consent agenda by Marcia Terency, and Patty Jensen has seconded it. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, it's a unanimous approval. Thank you very much. Do we have any oral requests or requests for oral communication? It doesn't look like it. All right. Carrie Mae, you are up.
And Susan, if you'd move your mic in between so that Patty can hear.
All right. Well, we'll let her talk.
Yeah.
She's
Um,
looking.
Before I get to the written director's report, I would like to invite Kristen Strong, our programs coordinator, to come forward and give you all a a giant summary of our summer reading program.
Up close.
Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. I have a little bit of a cold, my apologies. Ta-da. Oh, here we are. Okay,
Oh, much better.
much better. Okay, so I'm here to talk about the summer reading program and how it went. You can go to the next slide. Yeah. So here are the overall stats. So we had a little over 2,500 active readers. These are people that logged their reading. A little over 16,000 badges earned. As many of you know, we use a software called Beanstack to track our summer reading. And in that software, readers or our patrons can earn badges for reading books, tracking minutes, doing activities, those kinds of things. So it's a really good metric for participation. So we had 16,000 badges earned, a little over 47,000 books read, and a whopping 985,000 minutes read. This is a huge jump. I'm getting a little ahead of myself now, but this is a huge jump from last year. And I think it's in part because in 2024, we made patrons choose whether they were going to track the amount of books they read or the minutes that they read. And in 2025, we gave them the option to track both. And so what we found by doing that is that people who only tracked minutes continued to only track their minutes, but people who tracked their books also tracked their minutes read. So that's why we see such an enormous jump from last year.
Do they get double dips?
They do earn more badges that way, but as far as like prizes or entries in the drawing, it's, we're not too worried about it.
I'm not worried. I just was curious.
Yeah, there might be a little bit of double dipping, but that's okay. These numbers are also roughly a little under twice what they were in July when I last talked to all of you, which is kind of what we want to see. In July, we were, about halfway through the summer reading program, so we expect to be halfway through participation numbers, and that ended up being true this year, so that's great. Next slide. Here's just a fun graph. It's just a participation by branch. Unsurprisingly, Medford and Ashland had the most participation, being our two biggest communities. But I also wanted to point out that we had really big turnouts in Talent with about like a little over 200 participants. Eagle Point, which was almost at that 200 mark, and like White City, which had 150 participants. And everything else seems pretty on par with like the size of their community. So there wasn't anything that we thought, even though they look small on that bar graph, for Applegate, those numbers are pretty on par. Next slide. This is really why I'm here, is to show you how this all compares to last year. Blue is 2024, red is 2025. Pretty obvious that we were ahead on all of these fronts. I didn't include the minutes one because we were so far ahead because of that difference in tracking. So I didn't include that here, but the top left is active readers. So again, people who logged their reading and participated, way ahead from last year. That top right is badges earned. Again, a really good metric to show participation. And then the bottom is books read. So not as huge of a jump, but people did read more this year. And I already mentioned why our minutes were ahead, so we can go to the next slide. Yes, please.
I'm sorry, did we show an increase in circulation?
Ooh, I'm sure we did. I did not come prepared with that.
That
number.
would be really cool to see.
Yeah, and I can try to get that number and I can email it or provide that for you. Yeah, okay. Here's where me as programs coordinator, this slide admittedly stings a little. Our number of programs this year, 2025, was way ahead of 2024, but as you can tell, our program attendance was not as high. Some of that is while we had more in-person programs, last year we had more take and make programs. So those like programs in a bag. For folks who don't know what a take and make program is, it's like supplies to make a craft or something like that. And we leave them out and patrons can take them. Those are really easy to count as active participation because if you made 30 take and makes and they all left or they were all taken, then you have 30 attendance for that program. Which isn't always the case for our in-person programs. So that could account for some of that dip. You know, I haven't had a chance to really dig in and look, but you know, for me, it just means having conversations with branches, looking at times we offered programs, the types of programs we offered, where we had that low attendance, what programs were more popular versus what were less popular, those kinds of things. So that's, you know, admittedly, it does sting a little as your programs coordinator, but
Is this fiscal year?
this is so it'll be summer reading to summer read. So June 1 to August 31 of 2024 compared to June 1 to August 31, 2025. So that's all I had. You can go to the next slide for summer reading. I do have one more slide, but are there any other summer reading related questions? Yes.
When it comes to getting the participants from last year
Mhm.
re-engaged in this year,
Mhm.
did we have an opportunity to push through Beanstack to the registered users and participants from last year, or did we not use that platform?
We did. We've been using Beanstack since 2020. You know, I haven't found a way that through Beanstack we can like email users because we also don't collect that information through Beanstack. We could. I wonder if there is a way to email Beanstack users to remind them that summer reading is coming. We do try to keep people engaged in the platform by offering reading programs throughout the year, whether it's for like Black History Month or Latinx Heritage Month. You know, we've had these like reading challenges all throughout the year to keep people engaged so that they're not having to relearn the platform every summer, which I think has helped over the course of time to up those numbers because we are definitely up compared to 2020. But we are not yet to pre-pandemic summer reading numbers. And so that's something that I'm continuously looking at and trying to find a solution for.
The only reason I'm asking is I'm sure on the internal metrics, Beanstack could be tracking this. And as we are a paying customer
Yes.
of theirs.
Yes.
I'm just wondering what sort of data without invading any privacy of any of our patrons, but just percentage of returning users. Has there been a conversion rate where they sent an email to somebody who wasn't a reader last summer program,
Mhm.
but was this summer program? Things like that. I would just see what they're willing to share so we can truly just
Yeah,
dig
and I
into
can
the
dig
data.
into all of their like they have lots of like reports and stuff. And I use some of them to find this information, but there's plenty in there that I haven't dug into as much. So I can definitely do some digging.
The only data point that I think to me
Yeah,
would be
return users.
returning users and new users.
Yeah.
Because I think it could very easily tie back to our increased awareness about the library strategic goal.
Yes,
And I don't see that goal becoming less important in the
Sure.
next strategic plan. So
Sure.
yeah, thank you so much. What's the conversion rate? What's the ROI?
And so my last slide is a sort of a sneak peek into something you'll hear more about at next month's board meeting. But we did a big the programs optimization project task force in partnership like with our community engagement department, put out a patron program survey. So that survey was to get information on the types of programs that our patrons go to, what they would like to see more of, as well as some other data like when is the best time to attend a program. So that recently closed, and so we are going through all of that data, but I wanted to share with you some of the quick things that I noticed. So we got a total of 287 total responses, which is admittedly less than we were hoping for. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't anything to glean. So me as programs coordinator, what I'm going to do with those responses is I can take specific branch information and go to the branch managers and be like, here's what people in your community are saying about programs at your branch. So while there's not enough data to create big system-wide brand new initiatives when it comes to programming, there is definitely conversations to be had with the branches about what they can be doing to better their programming. We unfortunately did not get any Spanish survey responses back, so we're going to have to circle back to that and revisit that on how best to reach our Spanish-speaking patrons.
But we had Spanish.
We did.
surveys
Yep,
available.
we had it
Well, that's
digitally and in paper form in Spanish and English.
Good.
So we did offer it. We just did not have anybody take it. And then just off the bat, just a fun fact is some programs that I noticed that people do want to see more of. And this is like across the system at multiple branches, are local history, arts and crafts, book clubs, gardening, technology education, and like physical activity, whether it's yoga or something like that. So for me as programs coordinator, what that means is I take that information and I go to the branches and I work with them to see how we can make that happen for their communities. You'll hear more about this in November, but any questions? Yes.
I know that you have the data, and so when you share more at the next meeting, I'd be interested in not drilling down too deep, but for instance, there might be people who are Spanish speaking but didn't take it in the Spanish
And
survey.
we did ask, one of the questions on the survey was, do you speak any other languages besides English at home?
Yeah.
And so there were English surveys that did a small percentage that did say Spanish also. So we do have a little bit of that.
And also a little bit more of the demographics of, I love that you have that came from all 15 branches, but I'm making this up. We're 285 of them over the age of 60. I'm
Sure.
just making that
Yeah.
up, but
Yeah.
kind of a little more understanding of the demographics of who responded.
Yes, absolutely.
That'd be
We'll get that
great.
to you.
Thank you.
Mhm. All right. Thank you so much. Oh, yes, one more.
To reframe, I think 287 responses is huge.
Well,
Congratulations on that number. That is tremendous. That is a nice solid sample right
Thank
there. Congratulations.
thank
Thank
you.
Yay, you. All right. So we get 2 minutes on your trip.
No,
Or-
you can talk to me afterwards. In the director's report, I just want to highlight a couple of things. I mean, always a lot going on at the library, as you know. It is Latinx Heritage Month for a few more days, but you'll see in the report there are a lot of highlights of some of the programs that we already have done in that context. Our in Entrepreneur in Residence program, which is a partnership with A Greater Applegate, and the first class was done out of our Applegate branch last month, and really exciting to see that program. I was able to meet both of our entrepreneurs in residence when I was at the Applegate Market last month. So it's great to see that program moving forward. And I think is something that may be replicable in other areas and other libraries around the country. We did an OLLI class, a 4-part series OLLI class on library services and letting people know about the wonderful services we have at the library. We were able to record that series, and it is now live on our JCLS Beyond YouTube channel. So if you all are interested in learning more about what's happening at the library, please go check that out. It was a very well done series by different members of our staff each week during that.
Many Alley students took it.
I am not sure. And I presented at the last one, and I think there were I would say about 30. Josh, do you know?
Oh, that's good.
About 30?
Yep.
Yeah, so about 30 who attended the classes live. We had the Enchanted Library Fair here at the Medford Library. I ran into one of the friends of the library volunteers the week after, and she just said, Carrie, that was so much fun walking around the library, seeing families together, and when are you doing it again? So very positive feedback from them. They had a lot of activity at the library or at their bookshop that day as well. They had some themed sales going on for that day as well. We do have Jess Walter, local or nationally recognized author, coming next week. So he will be doing a special writers workshop that has filled up to capacity next Tuesday evening here at the Medford Library. And then on Wednesday, a public presentation focused on his newest novel called So Far Gone, which is set partially in Grants Pass and in the Pacific Northwest. So that should be really great to have Jess Walter here next week. We don't always talk about things in the future, but I just wanted one last plug that you all can still
But he's
make it.
also coming tomorrow. Isn't that the Well-Read Book Club?
He's not going to be there tomorrow, but the
Oh.
Well-Read Book Club through the foundation is also discussing that book
Oh,
tomorrow
I see.
evening, 6 p.m. at Roxy Ann
I
Wine.
misunderstood.
Yes. And then just because it's fun every year, that Bear Week is happening in Alaska, and our Central Point branch had pictures from some of their local students that had drawn pictures of their favorite fat bear. There is a contest related to this to draw a poster, vote for your favorite bear, vote for number 131. And so the kids in some of the elementary schools drew pictures and posters and sent those to the library. So when I was in Central Point last month, was able to see some of those, and they are adorable, and the bears themselves, always fun to watch. Are there any questions about anything that was in your report? With the caveat that I may or may not know the answer because I was on vacation for the last 2 weeks.
Question. I have one. At the very beginning, under goal 1, what's LEAP?
Learning.
It's an acronym. Learn, explore, literacy. It's a rebranding of our Storytime at Home bags.
So I will repeat that on the microphone for those at home. It is a rebranding of our Storytime at Home kits and an expansion of that to be available through our regular collection and not just through our outreach to childcare.
I don't know if you could get AI to automatically
Right.
put in what
it is.
acronyms
Right.
stand for, but that might be helpful.
That's a good suggestion.
I had, well, go ahead.
Thank you. For how many years have we had the collaboration with the Oli group? Because that sounds awesome.
So we have been a partner with Ollie, and we have done some kind of one-off classes, like one session classes before. I believe this is the second time we've done a series of classes with them. We have participated. They have an annual open house that they do, and we have participated in that as a partner.
I have one other sort of, it's not really a big deal question, but I'm curious. There were a couple of reports that were under categories that didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And I was just wondering if who does the sorting? Or
It's a group effort.
Sorting, but
it is a group effort, and there are things that fall under multiple categories. And
Right.
so, we do our best to try to group things together, but it is a living document that, the input comes from several different folks.
well, like the vaccine clinic under professional development just seemed like an odd fit. But anyway, it's not a big deal. I think the report's very helpful, so. Ask about any remaining. Okay, so next up would be Bryn talking about staff day.
A wonderful day.
Oh, I'm really sad. Always.
All right. Yes, we had staff day. Many of you were there, so thank you for your attendance. It was appreciated. It was a mandatory professional development day, and it was held at Rogue X and catered lunch by Rogue Salad Company, which is a local restaurant. And 3 opportunities for breakout professional development sessions, and we had 2 keynote speakers. A wonderful day, and we've had lots of really positive feedback.
All right. Questions for Bryn? Okey-doke. Moving right along. Thank you, Bryn. So next up, we have under unfinished business, the district foundation MOU amendment. It has to come back for
There was just one
One
little phrase that
little
was
tiny
removed. So it
And-
was,
go ahead.
it was kind of a redundancy in section 2 of the agreements. So the MOU as amended shall be extended for an additional term of 1 year, removing the is not approved by the JCLD board as a clause, because if neither party actually moves to pass it, it won't pass. So that was the only correction to the
But we need to
MOU.
remove it.
Mhm.
I would like a motion to approve this small change to the MOU amendment.
I move to approve the small change. What she said.
How about just to approve the MOU as presented?
All right,
Yes, please.
Mark.
I have a small correction to make. Is this time to make the correction?
Sure.
Discussion. The final draft still has is not approved by in it. If you look at the red edit, the red line doesn't include the words is not approved by. It's a typo, I'm sure. It is not substantial, but it is.
I clearly understand.
What page are you on?
Page number 18, agreement number 2. Last line.
Are Kevin and I looking at the wrong agreement?
I'm seeing it redlined on page 16, but removed on page 17.
Look
What
at page,
words do you see
18.
redlined? What words do you see redlined?
The words I see redlined are is not approved by the JCLD board.
On our draft, we're saying is not approved, still not redlined, and then still in the corrected version. So
On page 18, you're still seeing that?
is not approved is showing up in the document.
Well, very weird. Not in the printed document.
I don't see it.
it's on the one that was sent in the packet.
Interesting.
So I just read it. In its sole discretion, it determines renewal is not likely to generate a favorable return on its investment, is not approved by JCLD, loses funding to maintain the sport.
Huh.
So.
We'll
Point
make sure,
taken.
we'll
Yeah.
make sure that the right
Yeah.
version is the one that is signed.
We
Thank
still
you.
don't- We still need a second to the motion.
Now that we clarified it, I second the motion to approve as presented.
All right. It has
As, yeah, yes.
Patty Jensen moved approval of this MOU amendments, and Marta has seconded the motion. Do we have any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Marissa?
She said I.
All right, good. Okay, so the amendment is approved. We're on track on that. So moving on to new business. Here we go. The state annual statistics report. Kelda, you're up.
Good afternoon. All right, so you have in your packet a memo as well as the latest and greatest version of all the data collected for FY25 for the state report. Last week, I sent you all an email with that Regina had prepared an attachment with all responses to all the questions that were asked previously. So you all should have all your questions answered. I feel really good about the data this year. We learn something every year. Any questions or comments?
And for the benefit of those who did not tune into the work session, which was riveting earlier this month, a lot of the data has been presented to the board, and we had a chance to ask questions about sources, commas, spelling, what's going to the state, what's not going to the
Decimal
state.
points,
So,
yeah,
thank you.
yes. Good job.
All right.
Thank you.
No further questions or comments on our statistical report. Boy, that makes it quick.
Easy peasy. Yeah, no, we'll get that submitted. The deadline is the end of this month, and so we will get that submitted to the state.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation and the timely answers to the questions. That came out very fast.
I will pass your thanks on to Regina. Yes.
All right, you can just stay there while we do the next thing, which is.
Well, can we
the-
go ahead and officially approve the
Oh,
data
we-
as
we do
presented?
have to- okay.
Yeah.
All right, then, we need a motion to approve this statistical report to the state from our district.
So moved.
Kevin moved approval. Do I have a second?
Second.
Patty seconds the motion to approve the statistical report. Any further questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we have approved this statistical report.
Nobody hates data. Very good.
We are moving right along. Next, we have two policies that have been updated, and it went through the policy committee. And Calvin, you want to talk about the acceptable internet use of the internet in the library?
Right. So policy committee met on October 6th. And we presented the red line version, which you have in your packet, as well as a clean version, as well as the original. This is the Internet Acceptable Use Policy. It guides our staff, and it's a communication tool to the public about how the expectations around internet use, so that people know what to expect when they come here. They know what behavior is acceptable and what is not, and how we go about making sure that is the case. So we made a variety of changes this time around, rearranging content. We added a new Wi-Fi section, kind of got a little bit more clear on our SEPA compliance, Children's Internet Protection Act compliance. So yeah, if there are any questions, let me know.
We have a motion to approve this amended policy
Oh, I
related.
just
Hmm?
had a quick question. Oh, what brought on
We're
the
gonna get a
complete?
motion on the table and then have the discussion, which is, I think, the way we're supposed to do it.
This is Marta, and I move to approve the acceptable internet use policy as presented.
Thank
With
you.
edits.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, Patty, Marta has moved and Patty has seconded approval of this amended motion. Now, Marissa, you're up.
Oh, I just wanted to know what brought about this like substantial revision.
I think really it's looking at it with fresh eyes, reading over it. I think I know personally when I approached it, that as I was reading it, I thought, oh, well, this, just with an editor's eye, I think that I wanted to make it a little bit more clear. I worked with the IT manager, Cameron Tippins, on these revisions. We each looked at a variety of other libraries to see how they articulate their policies. We learned that some libraries have multiple different types of policies that reflect what's all in one for us. And so we found little snippets. Ooh, we realized we didn't have a Wi-Fi section, so that for folks using our Wi-Fi and their own devices, we didn't have any provisions. So we wanted to add that. Others were much more clear about, the age differences. And so we thought that was a good thing to add into our policy to be a little bit more clear, and then just simply rearranging a lot of the content. That's why the red line is so red, because it was a lot of moving pieces just so that it flowed better. So like, for example, I moved the copyright section to the end because I feel like the meat of the policy is, anyway, it was just the flow of the document.
Yeah, I mean, it looked good overall. I was just wondering if there was any like specific incident that drove the change, but yeah, I thought that The language
Nope.
was a lot clearer on things, so it looked
Oh,
good.
good. Yeah, no, it was just up for revision. It was just, it's part of the review cycle.
All right, any further?
And I'll just add, like, the addition of a Wi-Fi use section, I think was probably overdue about 5 years ago. We probably should already have been in the thick of that. So I was really glad that that was something that the reviewers thought to include and add to our policy.
Any other questions or comments on the proper internet use? Everybody in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Then we have a second policy update. Which is, where's my? On the land acknowledgement statement, we talked about it at the meeting, and well, let's get a motion on the table to approve it, and then we can have discussion.
I move that we approve the policy 5-18 land acknowledgement.
Do I have a second?
This is Martin, a second.
Thank you. We have a motion that to approve the land acknowledgement statement and a second. And we are now open for discussion. All right, if nobody,
I'll add one thing to that, yes.
okay,
I'll be voting against it, as I've said in the meeting prior to this one. I find that singling out one ethnic group in this way is divisive. I don't think it's the right thing to do, and I think it's not really related to our library business. I don't think it's appropriate for us to be making a statement such as this. And that's my belief.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I have similar feelings as well, because it gets into weird things too of like, what does indigenous mean? And yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem like with the edits, but yeah, I kind of, with Kevin, I agree with Kevin, like with the policy itself, like I don't really like the land acknowledgement. It's, like I said, it's weird, and yeah, it singles out a certain group and then it goes into mixed identities, and yeah, it's kind of isolating and segregating.
All right.
I
Then,
respectfully hear both of your comments. I feel, which is why I want to be the one to make the motion, very strongly that it's important that we acknowledge the land that we are on. It was taken violently for the most part. And I think that acknowledging that we are on land that was if maybe I should stop, but I'm not going to. When we talk about migrants, every single one of us is a migrant here sitting in this room, unless you're a Native American or Indigenous person. And I think that it's important that we recognize that. So
Yeah, but that's again the complication, is that who is indigenous? And I myself, I do have Native American history. Unfortunately, not enough to be officially recognized by a tribe, but many people are like that, and many people have been here for a long time and have strong roots. So again, I find it divisive being a person of, I would argue, indigenous ancestry. So
and again, I respect your thoughts and your opinion, and I just want to share that I feel differently.
Just as a point of order, I did want to point out that this is a motion to approve the amendments to the existing policy. So a vote against this would not remove the prior policy. It would just not approve the current amendments.
you're right.
yeah, I was kind of wondering about that, because I mean, yeah, I don't know whether to vote on this or not, because like I mentioned, I don't have necessarily a problem with the rewording. It's just the policy in general, but then how else, what would be the mechanism then to review that policy?
Hi, it's me again. The board could refer the policy to the policy committee for review about the policy itself as opposed to the amendments that are being proposed. And then to be brought back basically for reconsideration.
Well, I thought the policy committee agreed that we should present this policy as amended for approval, even though, so I would actually, I think, perhaps disagree with your point of order, because this is, the policy is revised, but I think if we don't approve it, the policy goes away. I mean,
No,
it
this
has
is-
come
the
up
vote
to
is-
the policy committee on the regularly scheduled.
Right, so if
landing-
this amendment to if the revisions to the current policy aren't approved, the current policy would still stand in place.
I don't
The
think
policy
that's,
itself would not be removed,
why would that not be? I mean,
because
we're
the motion on the
reviewing all
table,
the policies on a schedule. And it seems to me that, I mean, I guess I'm not in charge actually, but we look at the substance of the policies, and I think if you don't, I would interpret, my personal interpretation would be that if this fails, the policy fails.
but what you're voting on is revisions to the current policy. It's not a vote to keep or dismiss the policy itself. So if that's what the board would like to send back to the policy committee to discuss whether this policy should continue to exist or not, that's a separate question from amending the current policy as presented.
I think that's right.
Right.
Yeah, this is about the revision to the current policy, and if we don't approve it, the policy stays in force. We would want to bring a whole nother motion to
We can-
remove the policy.
All right, well, let's deal with
So-
that one first, and then we'll see if we
I-
want the other.
So
Marta,
I have a
wait,
question. Oh, I'm sorry.
Marta? Go ahead.
Thank you. In the language as suggested, must be read at all district board meetings. Does meeting include study session? Because we have been reading it at study sessions. Is that
I'm sorry, I
included?
can't hear you.
Sorry. Does the term district board meetings, does that encompass study sessions as well, or do those need to be called out separately? Because we have been reading it at study sessions or work sessions.
Well, you
Oh,
I mean,
Say
a
yes.
board meeting is a board meeting
Yes.
as far as.
That includes work sessions and study
I mean,
sessions.
any
the pub-
The
convened
meeting of
the study sessions are a public board meeting. So as far as,
And that's an oversight on our part for not making sure that's on the agenda. We'll make sure that that is added to the agendas.
Thank you. Okay.
so
Okay.
my question is, thank you for the clarification for me. So, Kevin and Marissa, are you, perhaps I didn't understand, are you disagreeing with the change to the amendments, or is your concern more to the policy itself?
Kevin?
So yeah, it's really not a big deal, but I am against the amendments itself as well as the policy itself. So I'll be voting against the amendment, and then
Okay,
we'll do anything I want after that.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so we can still approve the amendments, but then send the policy back for further review perhaps, or elimination.
Could do.
Is that?
Well, okay, well, that's not,
I'm asking,
Yeah.
like, is that what
Well-
is that the order of events that needs to happen?
we could, well, yes, I mean, what the motion before us is a motion to approve the amendment. And we can, then after that's completed one way or the other, we can talk about whether we want to send the policy of having a land acknowledgement statement back to the policy.
Or we could just remove it by board via without sending it back to the goals.
Because the what's on the agenda today is the revisions to the policy. I think if we were to be discussing removing the policy altogether, that would be a different topic, and we would have to notice that separately as what the agenda topic is.
But next month, for instance, we
Correct.
could make a motion, have it removed without referring to the policy committee, though. We don't necessarily have to send this.
Correct.
Wait, what? Wait, so, so the motion though, and I'm not the parliamentarian, or whatever that's called, but are we
The
on
motion
right now is
just
to
about
the amendment? Okay, got it. Okay, so did it get a second?
It
Maybe
did
not.
get a second.
It did?
Marta second.
Marta, okay.
So is there further discussion about the amendments to the land acknowledgement statement? Hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
I mean, are we gonna have are these recorded who's vote? Yeah, roll call.
You want a roll?
Would you like a roll call?
All right. You can do a roll call.
Director Kiefer.
Aye.
Director Trancy.
In favor?
Director Jensen.
Aye.
Director Shepherd.
Yes.
Director Keating.
No.
Right.
Now, can we have another discussion? Or I have a suggestion.
We have to close the vote first.
Oh,
Well,
that's
the
those
result-
closed.
The motion is
Oh.
approved 4-1 to amend land acknowledgement as presented.
Okay,
Now we can discuss whether there's any further policy action on the land acknowledgement statement that you want to make.
I'm going to suggest that this would be, I know that we already have topics for our next couple work sessions, but this seems like an excellent topic for a work session. Does the other board members want to look at that as an option? Trying to be inclusive here.
I'd be okay with that. I think we're already set through February, I think, for work sessions, but I'd be fine with that.
Okay, so maybe March.
Lunch?
March.
Oh, March.
Well,
But anyway, I guess I'm just saying that I, as a new board member, this is the first time that there's been I think, an action that wasn't unanimous. And so to me, that says, let's talk about it some more.
Sure. And we can always talk privately too, so that's fine. Yeah,
I don't think we're supposed to.
you can talk
we can talk.
together.
Okay.
Two people can talk. It's not a quorum. You can't make any decisions. You can,
You're
So-
welcome to communicate as individuals and build a working relationship. However, you may not discuss things that are going to be subject to a board vote and those that could benefit from
Hearing that conversation.
hearing the conversation. Thank you.
Wait, Jackie, is that the case? We can't talk about business that's coming forward to the board if it's one-on-one?
So
Yeah.
it depends. So one-on-one would be acceptable, but not if it's like, if you went
Not
to talk to
serious.
each person individually about the same thing, then that becomes a serial communication.
Okay.
At the same time, let's look at the schedule of the agendas for the study sessions and the work sessions that we have ahead of us. I do trust the library director and staff to prioritize things that certainly most definitely need the board input. I think we can balance what the board wishes to discuss with what the library absolutely needs us to discuss. And yeah, some things are, if the goal is to change another board member's mind, then maybe that is a private conversation. We may be coming into this conversation with various levels of background on the topic too. So there could be a training opportunity there, or there could be individual conversations.
there was quite a bit of conversation about this topic when it was initially passed. And there's quite a lot of strong feeling. Both
Which,
ways.
that's why it may be a good topic for a work session. I mean, I think that allows everyone to to have that thoughtful communication and to bring the information from their perspective with them to that conversation. So I think
Yeah.
that's
Maybe even
not
a
an
representative of
inappropriate.
the EDI committee too.
For me, it's not to change someone's mind, but as the wise, I think the philosopher Yoda said, first we seek to understand. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, so I'll make note. I kind of penciled in March, but also just, to your part, Marta, like looking at what we're looking at for future work session topics and fitting this into that future plan.
We usually have a budget work session in March.
Yeah.
Anyway, we will revisit this.
Yep, thank you.
All right, that was, thank you, Brandon.
Thanks, Patty.
So then, we have budget committee recruitment. We have two citizen members of our budget committee whose terms have expired. We are aware that one of them is not interested in being reappointed to the committee. I have said I would check with the other one to find out if we have one opening or two. But what we have done in the past, I believe, is to post the vacancies on our website. And we used to at least put in the newspaper under volunteer opportunities that this committee was looking for people. And if we have similar place to do that now, I would suggest we do that as well.
Can you do would you please, I know you can, if there might even be people in the audience right now can you give us just a really brief overview of what it is? What the position, what is involved in the position?
Okay. You want to take this?
Up to you.
We have a budget committee prescribed by statute. It is comprised of all 5 members of the district board and 5 citizen members of the district board. The citizen members are appointed for a term of 3 years, and they can be reappointed at least once. I'm not sure about, I don't think there are term limits, but we could check on that.
And is it the only committee that has both, that has people that are not?
It's
board
the only
members?
committee that's set
By
up by
statute?
statute. I
Okay.
mean, this is,
The composition of the committee is determined by statute or is defined by statute. So it's
Right.
the equal number of community members as we have board members
Okay.
across any local governments. The responsibility of the budget committee is to receive the proposed budget, consider that, and the budget committee is who approves the budget that is then moved forward to the board for adoption. So
Okay.
the commitment of budget committee members is primarily between, we'll say, February, March, and May of the fiscal year. What we have done in the time that I've been here, we have had a work session sometime in mid to late March, where the budget committee learns more about the budget process, learns about the budget in general. There are also statutory limitations on what we can discuss during any of those preliminary meetings. Then there is a budget committee meeting at which the budget is formally presented for them to consider and approve. And then if they would like to attend the June board meeting when there is the public hearing and the official adoption, that would be the third opportunity for them to be present. So in May, we have a meeting at which the budget is considered for approval. If it is not approved in the first meeting, there would be a second meeting because we can't send it for adoption until it's approved. So that's kind of the responsibility, the time frame of the commitment of someone who would be interested in serving on that budget committee.
And is it appropriate if we know people that we might want to suggest to them? And if it was someone that perhaps was planning on running for a board position 2 years, that would not preclude them because then they could resign from the budget committee if they ran and were elected to the board?
Correct.
Okay. Great, thanks.
and in terms of process, what we've done after we posted the notice would have a deadline for submitting your application to be appointed to the
Mhm.
budget committee. And we have a committee that reviews the applications and interviews people, but is that an ad hoc committee or is?
It's an ad hoc committee, so you could appoint people to that committee, or people could volunteer today to serve on that committee. So it would be, it's been 2 board members and myself. I would perhaps recommend adding Heather Scott as our finance manager to that process, just because she knows the budget process really well as well.
That's a really good
And
idea.
we've had anywhere between 3 and 8 people who have applied in the past, and it's been, I think, a really good opportunity to see who's interested and to meet some people in our community. We have, I think, for the last 3 times we've had positions open, had some tough decisions to make, because there's a lot of qualified people out there who are willing to serve the library in this capacity.
And we have had people move from the budget committee and then decide to run for the board. So we have had people that ended up serving on both.
It'd be good.
I did. Yeah.
Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, we might consider, I don't know, having just 2 members on the appointment committee. It would possibly be logical to have all 5 of us do the
Well,
interviews.
then it has to be a noticed meeting. I mean,
No,
so
that's not necessarily, as long as we notice it, it's fine. But I just think you might get better input, output, more people, judging their qualifications.
well,
Just a thought.
Marta,
From a former interviewed member of the public
Mhm.
prior to my appointment point of view, if that meeting is quorum and publicly noticed, so are the subject of the conversation becomes public record as well. So from a interviewee's point of view, that actually might make our process less desirable to participate in.
Mhm.
Just putting that out there.
Maybe.
less desirable.
If
Is that what
then
you?
it becomes a confirmation hearing. in
Well,
a
no,
way.
hey,
Exactly.
I didn't hear you.
Yeah. Thank you, sorry. Yes, it
See
becomes less desirable to participate, and if every single answer that could be fumbled during a stressful process becomes public record.
I mean, our reviewing of applicants for board positions as the one you're talking about, since you were appointed to fill a term, has followed basically that same process where there's been a committee who reviews the applications and makes a recommendation to the board. And I don't really see a reason to change that necessarily.
That's what I'm saying. That was a
Right.
great process because it wasn't publicly noticed. And the records of it weren't just posted for everybody, because I'm pretty sure I fumbled something.
I don't think so. You did pretty well.
So Kevin, is your reason for suggesting that wanting those more perspectives, or because the purpose of
It was the reason, simply.
right?
You
Yeah.
know, there are only 5 of us, and it seems like having a special little subcommittee, you might as well just make it the 5.
Right. Well, and I think the challenge becomes not just the public noticing of it, but if we did get 10 applicants for 2 positions, it becomes an efficiency thing to be able to schedule those interviews and go through that. The application materials are available, and we can, I think we've shared the full application materials with the board as part of the process, but that the vetting, if you will, and the ranking is a helpful way to make it a more efficient process when it comes to the full board for consideration.
Marta,
On other boards that I serve on, it is also part of the responsibility of the departing board members to identify possible candidates. So just doing the math, if every board member identifies a candidate, and then the 2 departing ones identify a candidate, we could be up to 7 candidates, and that involves homework and outreach on our part. But I think that's why we're having this discussion today. I am ready to commit having one very meaningful conversation in good faith with somebody I've identified as a good candidate to see if they're interested. And if we all can think of somebody and brainstorm separately and make that our homework. And also encourage the 2 departing members, would thank you for their service, of course, to brainstorm of who would be really good in those at-large public positions. We could easily be up to 7 to 10 candidates. And I'm confident about a positive outcome there.
But I mean, don't we do any in marketing too? That to me just sounds weird that like we're recruiting, you know, I want to cast a biggest net as possible.
Right, well, we'll post it in the places where we always advertise for openings on the board and this and the budget committee.
Yeah, I mean, will it be posted on like social media too? Just like trying to get the word out there everywhere.
Yeah, and I do believe over the past several times when we have posted these opportunities, it's been a combination of, and I think we even have a question on our application. Hey, how did you hear about this? You know, hey, Marta talked to me in the, you know, at this meeting, or I heard about it from the website or from an advertisement on social media. So we do get that feedback of how people have heard about the position. And it's been a pretty good mix of ways that people have heard about the opportunity. And I feel like, you know, Marissa, to your question or concern, I feel like we've tried really hard to cast a wide net and get candidates who are representative of different parts of our community and the geographic area that we serve, people with different skills and backgrounds coming to us through the way that we have advertised. So, you know, certainly would anticipate similar efforts for these opportunities.
Mark,
Carrie, I believe you have a commitment to go speak to somebody on JPR or Jefferson Exchange in the next couple of months. Can you name drop this opportunity next time you're on JPR?
Perhaps.
Wonderful. I think that would complement social media efforts and individual board and current departing committee member efforts.
all right. Are you content with this, or do you want
I'm
to
happy as could be.
make a formal proposal to change the process?
So do we have 2 volunteers to be on the budget committee review recruitment
I'll be on.
committee? Kevin's interested. I'm sorry, Susan, that's your job.
Yeah, I'd be interested.
Marissa's interested. Patty's
Patty's
interested.
interested.
Now y'all have them,
Well,
Russell.
maybe Marta wants to.
Marissa
Oh,
said-
Marta, I'm sorry, Marissa.
Marissa,
Marissa just said she was the, we could draw straws.
Yeah, we could. These are 2 good people that we find.
If we need someone, I'd be happy to serve, but
Well,
Marissa and Kevin, are you good? Marissa and
or Patty,
Patty.
Kevin was just suggesting Patty and Marissa. You want to do it that way? I don't really. I mean,
You know, I've been on it, you've been on it. Let's let
all right,
some new
okay,
people go.
Marissa and Patty.
we will set up Patty and Marissa to be the ad hoc committee to vet the budget committee applicant.
we're
And
on it, Marissa.
I will check with the outgoing members and see if we're looking for 1 or 2.
And I think what we did last year is, or the last time we had a vacancy, we had someone who was interested in continuing. And they were just an applicant in the pool. Because that's another consideration is they may be interested in serving another term. And they would just be considered as, and I think that's
fair.
I think that's a fair way to look at that too.
Can I see the copy of the scoring things anyway? The
When
things
we
you
get-
use to
when
score
we
the
get ready.
candidates. Yeah.
When we get closer to this process, we can do that.
The interview rubric.
Scoring rubric, yeah.
Whatever the name is.
Yeah,
That document.
the.
Yeah, I think what we've
rubrics
shared
for the-
before is the ranking of them, of the candidates. So, yeah.
Based, yeah.
Yep.
Based on the questions.
Yeah, so Patty and Marissa, I will reach out to you with the current application form. And then the interview questions we used last year to see if there's any modifications for what we want to use this year. And then the current terms expire December 31st. So we do try to do this either at the December or January meeting. They don't, you know, their first call of duty is in March. So we'd like to give them time to get things on their calendar, but that's kind of the time frame. So we'll get that posted, the notification posted within the next couple of weeks and start the process.
Sounds good.
Excellent.
Thank you all.
All right, thank you. And
Bring us home.
then that takes care of the new business. We have under committee and board member reports, a report from the facilities committee and the minutes from that meeting are on at the very last page in your board packet. As an attendee of that meeting, I would say the minutes do a fine job of outlining the discussion. Does anyone have questions for the committee about what we talked about or comments?
Is there any update on the, I mean, it says there's an update on the art project, but was there anything significant spoken about?
I think we've approved it, and I think the board approved it.
So the update is that it's set for installation in September 2026. The details of the contract with the artist were finalized so that he could begin the work on the creation of the art and subcontracting with the welder to put the frame together.
Do we have a view of the image? I don't know if you've ever seen the final decision on the image.
Yeah, it was included in the director's report 2 months ago, I believe.
Okay, I didn't know that was final. Okay.
Yep.
There were 2 graphics that were vertical, I believe, right?
Yes,
Right, on either side of the big window, there's 2 narrow ones.
I'd be happy to resend that to you if you'd like.
Sure.
Is there anything else anyone would like to say before I adjourn today's meeting? Marta?
Yeah, I realized we never gave kudos to the team that planned the staff day. We had no questions about it, but I had a lot of enjoyment during that day. I learned a lot. The keynotes were great, energizing. The topics were relevant, and I followed the track activity sparking senior services. And I appreciated that there were several tracks. All of the tracks were fantastic, and I consider myself a more informed board member as an outcome of that. And so huge thanks to the team, including Lauren, who helped put it together. A really great day, and no board members did not get special treatment. The song that I chose to be played in the playlist was the last one after everybody packed up for some comedic relief. That was a great day.
I
Thank
was very disappointed to have to miss staff day. I always come to staff. I just couldn't.
I took that day off 6 months in advance. As soon as you announced it, when we first thought it was going to be September 19th, I actually requested 19th, and I switched it.
Anything else? Going once, going twice. We stand adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody online
Thank you.
and in person.